Sup? Are we live right now? I think we are. What is going on, y'all? It is your boy Kevin Yee, and we are doing the Sunday stream again. If you're gonna, I know I have been really MIA for the last God, dude, I've been MIA for probably like the last month or so, and yeah, I kind of want to give you my thoughts about this whole live stream and stuff, and what it's gonna be going forward as well. Don't get me wrong. Like when I first started doing live streams, I think it was like 2006, and I kept it up almost every single Sunday for the last 3 years. And yeah, I just like it just got to a point in my life, especially like right now, I'm like so busy like running my business and just honestly enjoying my life. I've been implementing something new. I just been taking like Sundays off, taking time by myself. Yesterday I watched Suicide Squad. Today I actually saw Black Widow. I had some nice prime rib last night. Fine wine and dine myself. Had a massage and stuff. Um, just been going through a lot, y'all. So, and what I've also noticed too is like when I take time off during the weekends, I come back so much harder. So that's why you're seeing all these like newer, higher production quality type of videos as well. So yeah, I mean it's been giving me a lot of space to do this, and honestly, the live streams are good, but I don't think like they're like wow, like these are like crazy type of live streams, and I think honestly the channel can really do without. It doesn't really need this sort of interaction as well. So but anyways, if you guys are just tuning in, make sure to smash the like button. Would appreciate it all, y'all, and just love to chop it up for next like maybe 30 to 60 minutes as well. Like I said, I'm gonna leave this up for like about 48 hours as well. That way, people who are maybe busy right now can catch the live stream after and stuff. But one of the things I'm trying to do is decrease the clutter on my channel too. And so I haven't decided if I'm gonna remove some old videos. I'm on the edge of deciding that at the moment. And I've been playing with the new shorts and all that as well. So we'll see if I continue that, but I've been just kind of really been focusing on delivering really high quality content, and I spend anywhere from like 2 to 3 days scripting out these new videos and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, last week I got kind of burnt out from doing all these videos, so hope you guys really appreciate the new higher quality and the skits and all that. It's really fun, honestly. I'm really having a blast doing it as well. So yeah, I don't know. I think there was a point in my life where more recently, so the love life isn't doing too hot right now. The client life was a little bit of a nightmare for a little bit, where I was actively spending a lot of time on one of my clients because it was so reactive. But I'm glad we got those kinks worked out. And people have been asking me about my coaching services too. So I've just been really, really busy with that too, which is pretty crazy. Like the amount of people who are, it goes to show you when you're just good at something, um, like people just ask about it, right? And that's something that I've kind of realized more recently is like I really want to focus on my personal brand, creating more content that just captivates people's hearts, just really relates to people. And I've kind of figured out what I'm really good at in terms of being raw and real, like challenging normal like expectations and thoughts, and just being compassionate, just giving a fuck about people, honestly. So that's what I've been focusing on. And more recently too, I've been also really been focusing on the jujitsu game too. I've been going jujitsu almost like 5 times a week, y'all. So it's been pretty crazy. Um, yeah, and just focusing on the things that really make me happy. So I know for the rest of the year, I'm going to have like a really busy season. So right now I'm looking for all the talent to hire out, right, for my closing business and this YouTube channel. I spent last week like process mapping everything, mapping A to Z on what I do for this channel and how I like do my newsletters and stuff, because I'll be honest, I haven't been super consistent. So I know I need a little bit of help as well if I'm going to be doing that. And honestly just been chopping up with some Vegas people and going back to LA and stuff. If you've seen some of my stories on Instagram, I've been posting a lot up there. I've been posting a lot of my reels up on TikTok too. So if you're not following me there, you can always check out there. But yeah, like it's pretty. It's just been so busy, man. And honestly, like I just feel this new growth. Comments. Hold on. Why will you delete this Wolfheart 2014? Because I'm gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna delete it. I'm gonna unlist it. And reason being is like I just don't want it cluttering up my channel. I have like so many live streams and stuff like that, and I just I just want to upload really high quality content going forward as well. So we got Larva says, thanks for all the info. I hope to take a course or coaching from you. Oh yeah, appreciate it. So there's two things that I feel very passionate about. So that's kind of like non-salesy selling, especially for business owners. I don't know. More recently, I've just been helping a lot of business owners kind of sell their products and services without like scammy tactics or high pressure sales tactics. I'm not a bit like you buy now. Like, I mean, I've tried it in the past and it just feels like kind of, ugh. No one likes using it and no one likes having it used against them. So that's one. But also the second thing is content creation too. So I'm actually running a content maximizer accelerator where actually I have one person enrolled right now, and right now I'm beta testing it. I'm deciding, I'm going to talk to my coach tomorrow and see like, hey, should I open this up to the public? I don't know about launching two different programs at the same time. It's too confusing. So I'm probably going to launch one or the other, but I got to decide which one I want to launch first again. Do a rerun of my inbound sales coaching or do a new content maximizer thing. What I'm probably eventually going to do, I'm going to combine both of them into like two programs and stuff. And yeah, for business owners and whatnot as well. It's pretty crazy. I mean, like business aside, like if I were to rewind my life, like when did I decide this channel? I started posting YouTube videos after like many years of debating whether I wanted to do a YouTube channel or not. I really inbound sales space. I never would have guessed that, honestly. And it's been such a ride, and being able to, and I just want to thank y'all who are with me today. Like, thank you guys for helping me kind of grow this channel. I've gotten so many opportunities because of it. I've even more important to me is like the people I get to meet through YouTube. It's been amazing. Like, I cannot tell you, like if there's one single thing that has changed my life, it's YouTube for sure. Like, because of this, like I actually have friends in Vegas. Like, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, no one would be hitting me up to meet up with me or anything like that, or no one would send like these really sweet heartfelt messages when I share like tough times that I'm going through as well. And it's trolls and there's all that sort of stuff too, but by far the good outweigh the bad, and I've been able to secure clients and affiliates and all these wonderful things through this platform. And I just remind myself, no matter how much headache I have, like with my editor or anything that I'm going through, I just realize that like this is such a beautiful time to be alive in this age of this digital age. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we need to figure out, but it forces me to ultimately kind of be a better man at the end of the day, be a better leader, be a better person, and think out my thoughts and just help people feel like they're not alone. I was actually listening to Rickson Gracie. If you guys don't know who Rickson is, he's one of the best. People would call him like the Drake, like like the Drake of like jiu-jitsu. He's the GOAT, right? And he's so old school. And I was listening to his podcast with Jocko, right? And he's that Navy SEAL guy. He's like he has that book, Extreme Ownership. It's a really great book, by the way. But yeah, they did a really killer podcast, and I totally related to him when he said, you know, I'm not in the jiu-jitsu game, I'm in the business of empowerment. And I was like, yeah, I fuck with that, because there's been so many times where I've just been like, what does my channel do? What do I do? and I've always been so confused about like my whole channel direction and all that. And more so I've been kind of moving away toward the traditional niches and just thinking about what are the values that are most important to me, right? Because sure, I do a lot. I do jujitsu, I do inbound sales, I do a lot of different things, right? But this is like, what is the one common theme? It allows me to be creative, allows me to help people, allows me to have broad impact on people, like really change people's lives. And sure, compare to these gurus, am I doing like $500,000 sales every single week? No, but that's not something I really want. Like I rather have a smaller group where I make true impact, where I coach people one-on-one, and maybe I'll build out a coaching team as well, like where we create really kick-ass products. That's not going to be, I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to do it like I'm not going to sacrifice quality. And that's something that's been more and more on my mind every single day, is like quality. How can I have better quality jujitsu? How can I have better quality videos where people really fuck with it and people come back every single time to this channel and they're like, damn, Kevin, this video was the best one. And I've had those comments over the last few weeks. It's kind of a lot of pressure, honestly, not going to lie, to kind of perform up to those standards. But the pursuit of it makes me a better and better man and better business person and better leader overall. And I'm just so blessed every single day to be able to wake up and have these opportunities that people like yourselves who have really helped me over the years. And I just really appreciate that. Larva says, glad I caught this notification. You're welcome, bro. Yeah, but if you guys are tuning in as well, I know that there's like people jumping in and out and all that. Welcome to my live stream. I used to do it every Sunday. I think I'll do it every Sunday when I'm free, rather than just doing like every single Sunday. I'm going to prioritize it. You know what? I think it's better. I think it's better this way. That way, like, I'm not just showing up just because I don't have anything on my mind. It's like, I want to show up because I want to kick it with you guys. I want to talk with y'all and all that. I don't know. I was even thinking about starting up maybe a small little Patreon or something like that too, to one, not only pay for kind of the costs here, but also to create a small knit community where we can do like Zoom calls and we can just like do breakout rooms and meet people and stuff. I think that'd be really cool if we can do a special breakout room or a Zoom room or something like that, where y'all can like meet each other and all that as well. And we can do like some one-on-one time with me, and where we can actually have a dialogue, because like live streams like this are really cool, but here's the thing. We can't really have dialogue. We can't go back and forth. We can't talk and stuff. And so I think that would be really cool. Just to start facilitating that community and start facilitating these like deep bonds and stuff. I mean, I don't want to say this isn't my real life, but in my personal life, I've actually been connecting a lot of my friends and stuff like that. We've been doing deep focus sessions with each other. I've been introducing people to each other and doing that over the last few weeks. And obviously it was because of like, the funny thing about the downfall of my love life is that when shit goes on for Kevin Yee, his friends, my friends, they come and they support me. I'm so grateful to have such great friends. But through that process, I was like, you know what? I guess I want to meet all y'all. let's just meet all y'all and let's just introduce y'all, because I always complain about my dating life or whatever to y'all, and it's like, dude, you guys pretty much know me. And it was so funny. Like a few weeks ago, I just had everyone meet each other, and they're like, oh my God, like, dude, your friends are just like you. There's like, I can see different parts of you in your friends. I'm like, yeah, it's absolutely true. So yeah, and if you're tuning in, make sure to smash the like button. Would improve that. Well, at the end of the day, I'm gonna hide this anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Junior Boss Beast 101 says, keep up the good work. You are amazing. Thank you, bro. Junior Boss Beast 101. I'd love to hear from you, bro. Like, how did you find me? And what has like really connected with you, or what really hits home for you, man? Because I want to continue creating really great content where you guys can relate to it and it's helpful for you guys as well, and you guys get takeaways. So, yeah, it's kind of like, so I want to tell you, like, while you guys are typing in your answers, and if you're watching this too, this is not only for Junior Boss Beast. If you're anyone like watching this, and given you're not driving, okay, like if you're driving, yo, don't fucking risk your life just to answer that question. But I love to kind of hear like, what do you guys like about my channel more recently, especially more recent videos, and how do you feel? More importantly, how do you feel after watching one of my videos more recently? When I say recently, I'm talking about the last month of videos, not the shorts, but the really long pieces where I'm doing like 45 to an hour thing. So if you guys are typing that, feel free to. So there's that. So anyways, but one thing that really like resonates with me too is like back in the day, I used to watch people like Mr. Shy City or like JK Films or these YouTube channels and stuff that really, really resonated with me in the past. And they would like, honestly, I'd feel so inspired, like just watching these videos and come out wanting to just do better for the world. And that's kind of like what I've been trying to kind of do with my content too as well. So yeah. Let's see, what is your net worth these days? It depends. I honestly haven't, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't even checked my like stocks or anything like that. I would say probably like maybe $250,000 at this point, maybe, I don't know. And then I'm not even counting my like crypto portfolio or anything like that too. So that's like passive though, passive income as well. So yeah. But I've been more focusing on passive streams of income, honestly. So like more cash flow things. So I have a few things going where I get recurring commissions and stuff, as well, like through referrals of clients and all that. So that's been really doing really well too. And yeah, that's one of the things I've been working on. And I've also been working on like running the sales team too, where I get top line revenue. So that's pretty passive. It's been a little inconsistent though. Like passively, like it could be 1,000 or 2,000 a week, but there's been like weeks, like for example last week, well, I only got like $320 in pure passive like income just through my sales team and stuff like that. So basically what I do is just I facilitate a deal and I close a deal, and my sales team does the rest for me as well. So there's that. Let's see. I came from the JK Party Costco Challenge and stay for educational content, says Seton. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, when I won that Costco, when I quote unquote won that Costco challenge thing, that's pretty. Those were some pretty. No one came out a winner that day, honestly, and I miss those days. I miss those days at the house, and I think about how blessed I am in my life to have that opportunity to live with like Joe and all these other people. Because honestly, if it wasn't for them, I would have never gone down the entrepreneurial route and gone down an alternative path, honestly. So there's that. Let's see. And kind of curious, Seton, like what kind of educational content do you really like as well? We'd love to hear that. I've been studying inbound closing and high ticket sales because I think it's something I want to get into while searching. I found you and all the information you have out. Yeah. I think it's good. It's the realest thing I've seen so far. Yeah. It's kind of tough, like putting out content out there, especially with high ticket sales, because it's so like nuanced. And I guarantee half the people who are interested in high ticket, like, okay, this goes for almost every single business model. So if you're watching this, like, listen up and you want to do an entrepreneurial pursuit, there's always like in some sort of business model, there's always like things that they're not telling you, right? For example, like, I know this one client, they teach like, I don't know, creative financing with real estate, right? And they teach you how to get into a property with no money down and with very little money down and all that, and teach you an exit strategy. What they don't tell you, or the hardest part, is actually acquiring your leads and stuff like that as well. Yeah, making, like, no one tells you that you have to cold call and stuff. So there's that hidden piece, which isn't like a deal breaker. None of these are deal breakers. It's just like, this is where most people fail, because that's where the real hard work is, right? There's another client who, I guess, like, teaches like self-publishing and stuff like that. And what I realized through that business model was that the biggest thing about that business model is, like, the biggest headache comes down to, like, getting your reviews, right? And similar with Amazon FBA and all these other things, right? So there's a lot of different nuances in every single business model. And that's why when I shot that video, I want to kind of go over everything, because it's not an easy path. It's definitely not for everyone, but at least if you want to do entrepreneurs, like some sort of entrepreneurial pursuit, it's really important just to learn how to do sales and just communicate, and how to do it in a non-sleazy way. And I feel very strongly about that, and it's just helped me adapt in so many ways in terms of my relationships and all that as well. So there's that. Lemon Doug says, "Hey Kevin, what's going on, bro? What is going on, Lemon?" So, yeah. So those are some of the thoughts on my mind more recently too, about, like, kind of like work-life balance and stuff. And yeah, like, honestly, I'm here today because I wanted to, because I missed you guys a lot, quite a bit. Like, believe it or not, I missed doing these live streams. And the previous week I was going through some stuff with my relationship life, and then I was going through stuff with, like, I was just, like, traveling a lot, and the last thing your boy wants to do is, like, live stream, like, break out the camera and live stream. And it's what I realize is, like, I just need to give back a lot to myself. To be at my best self, I need to get back to myself. So that's why I've been really taking time just to, when I'm tired, I just take a nap. When I like, after a hard work week, I'll decompress with, like, a massage and just go out to eat and do things by myself. More recently, I've been taking a lot of silence time by myself, and it's given me so much clarity about, like, what I want, what I need, the things I really care about, how I want to spend the rest of my life. And listening to great podcasts like that Jocko Willink and Hickson Gracie podcast, that was really fire over there as well. So there's that. Sutton says, "I really enjoy your self-help videos and your journey through life, especially from a 180 change, one career to another." Appreciate it, Sutton. Is there, like, I want to ask you too, Sutton, because you're OG, right? You've been here for a long time. Is there one topic considering self-help that you think I would really kill it at, that I haven't really talked about so far? Like, I would love to kind of hear that, just because you've been an OG since the beginning. You're one of my mods and stuff too, which I always appreciate. But I would love to kind of hear that. And easy. It has not been easy. It's like, think about it. I was doing pharmacy for, like, since I was, like, 18, right? Not as a practice as a pharmacist, but started as a tech, went intern and all that. And I got to, like, the age of 30 where I just realized I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was going on interviews and stuff after my dad passed away, and I was just like, man, I just don't want to do it. I don't see a future here. And when I actually met up one of you guys, like a viewer, more recently, and he was telling me that most pharmacists are only getting paid in the Vegas area like $70K. $70K. That is crazy. Which is probably like $100K in California or something like that. That is crazy. That is crazy. And I think, honestly, wages are just going to go lower and lower and lower, which is really sad. And it's hard for me to ethically recommend, like, pharmacy anymore, because there's so much debt that's required. And I mean, if you like the scope of work, you enjoy the work, hey, go do it. I never tell people not to, like, I always like, yeah, sometimes the video names are clickbaity, but if you know me and you've been watching this channel for a while, I've always said like, hey, like really, this is just arming yourself with the best information. If you still want to do it after all that, go ahead, right? But there's a lot of people who are doing it just for the money, and it's just like, man, it's really hard to give a hard recommendation towards something like pharmacy, right? When there's so many other careers out there as well, right? And will it change? Will pharmacy be saturated forever? I don't think so. But I just didn't see a future in pharmacy, to be honest with you. Like, I just didn't see it. And so with time and time again, I've seen like people try to start up businesses, and I don't remember where I heard it from. Maybe it was for like Billie Jean is marketing, and if you hate gurus, that's fine. But he did say something that really resonated with me too. It was like the two skills that every business needs is marketing and sales. That's a lifeline of the business, right? And I was like, okay. And trust me, I never really wanted to dive into sales or inbound closing, but I knew like I've always had a bigger vision in terms of growing something from nothing, from an idea into fruition. And I just really enjoy the personal development journey that is required to grow a business, because there has to be the logical side. There has to be the emotional side too in check. There's so many different aspects. It's not easy. It's consistent problem solving. It's like jujitsu. You have to be a total masochist to want to do something like that, right? Like, if you guys have never done jujitsu, here's my analogy. It's like you go in every single day, and you get killed. Like, you get bullied every single day. Sometimes there's someone bigger than you. Sometimes there's someone smaller than you. When you first go in, you're gonna get dominated by mostly everyone, right? Unless you have some previous experience and stuff. But for the most part, you're gonna get dominated, right? And to come back the next day, man, I've had people do like jujitsu classes and they never came back the next day. But if you can make it back tomorrow, then you're closer and closer to becoming a better jujitsu artist, right? Or practitioner, right? Same thing as with business, right? Like, there's so many headaches I've ran into over the last 2 or 3 years. Even this weekend, I was actually, so if you guys got an email blast, and actually an email blast was not supposed to happen this weekend, right? Because I was switching email platforms from MailChimp to SendFox, and then like my form got screwed up on my website. I'm like, fuck. And then like all this stuff, which I'm still actually in the middle of figuring out. But I also had one guy who was, I looked on was it Fiverr or Upwork? I can't remember. But I was trying to hire someone to help me with the migration. And I encountered this one guy who was, I believe, trying to scam me, honestly. He would not send me an invoice. He wanted admin access to all my accounts and stuff. I'm like, that's a little sus. When you don't need admin access to everything, you can literally close my account and like blackmail me, right? Like, I'm not about that life, but it's like, you have to read people. It's like these skills. Like, if I didn't have the skills of analyzing and reading people and just like kind of being a little bit street smart too, like, man, I could have I could have got scammed, man. It's not the end of the world too. Like, if that happens, it's fine. But it's like you run into problems. And then I just was like, you know what? Is it really worth it for me to outsource this task when I could take the next 2 or 3 hours just figuring it out? I was like, fine, I'll just suck it up. It's 2 or 3 hours, but at least like at least I can, like, I know how to do this. I don't know anyone else that I can trust to do it at this point in time. So whatever, I'm just going to do the migration by myself. So that's what I end up doing. So yeah, it's like things like that. Or like, I cannot tell you how many bad like hirers, like not bad hirings I've had, but doing interviews, and like when people are just like they bail last minute, or when people are unprofessional, it's like really it's really tough to find good help these days. Like, super tough, super difficult. It's not fun. And I've had to deal with a lot of these situations, but it's also blessed me with a lot of things too, in terms of that. Like, with like, yeah, I cannot tell you all the crazy stories that I've had over the last 2 or 3 years. My friends hear a lot of it. but I don't really talk about it too much on this like channel and stuff like that too, because I don't think a lot of people would really understand some of the growing pains that I've been going through as well. Like it's pretty difficult sometimes as well. Um, what's up? What's a good background station while you're grinding at work? Are you talking about Spotify? So let's say if I'm writing an article, I really like. Okay, so as much as I love hip hop and all that, like last thing I want to listen to is like 21. Well, sometimes I do listen to 21 Savage and stuff like that, but chances are you probably want a like less angry type of thing. You want something that won't distract you, that will kind of facilitate the mood of relaxation, because that's when you're at your executive state. When you're playing, like, not gonna lie, when I play some hip hop or like some like angry ass hip hop, like that's when I want to go to war and fight and stuff like that, right? I'm not about that life. When I'm doing like creative work, I want to be relaxed. I want kind of like a slower tempo, but I want to be like kind of upbeat so I'm not falling asleep, right? It's not like spa music where you're where you're like tuning out. It's like I really like chill hop. So chill hop radio I really like a lot with the raccoon. That's like my default that I go to usually. I usually listen to lo-fi hip hop. Like it's the genre is considered lo-fi hip hop, so it's kind of like you get the kicks and all that sort of stuff, but it's a little slower. It's like those R&B like beats in the background, which are pretty cool, and I just zone out to that, and that is something I really enjoy in terms of when I'm creative. I even play, not gonna lie, when I do like sales calls or anything like that, or even meetings, I'll play this chill hop radio in like an AirPod in like one of the ears while I'm listening, and that just helps me kind of relax and just listen and all that, because sometimes, like, I don't know, I've always been an ambient noise type of person, so that's what I like to do. Yeah, so chill hop radio is really good. When I'm like lifting and stuff, I like Rap Caviar and stuff, but that's definitely not for everyone, I would say. But chill hop radio I would give a strong recommendation to for most people. And then in terms of the environment, I sometimes work out of here, but more recently I've been really liking going to coffee shops or boba shops or even like casinos and stuff. That's been really, really fun more recently. Going to casinos and like going outside the boba shops and stuff and all that. I try not to drink too much boba. Your boy is like 197 right now. I'm like trying to lean out as much as possible, and it's actually working. Maybe it's because of like jujitsu sessions or something like that, but yeah. But that's kind of like my work routine. And here's another thing. I've been really co-working with people more recently. I've been meeting people in like Vegas. So I met this cool videographer more recently, like literally today. And we're like, hey man, I'm still trying to meet people in Vegas. You want to like co-work or something? Yeah. He's like, yeah. Another guy, he's actually the owner of Amp Asia. His name's Kevin as well. We were co-working last week too. And then this other girl I met on Clubhouse, she's in Vegas. We're supposed to Clubhouse this week. We're supposed to co-work later this week too. So I'm going to hit her up and do that too. And that really helps and facilitates the silence. And if I can't meet up with anyone, I have like a group of 3 or 4 people where we just co-work all the time, and we just message, hey, you want to co-work? And then we'll all jump into Zoom, and then we'll do like 15 minutes on, 10 minutes off, and we'll shoot the shit for like 10 minutes too as well. And it just makes you feel a lot less. It's like kind of a co-working space, and you just tell people what you're working with. That's something I've been doing. I've always kind of want to charge that as like a mini service or something like that, but I don't know, like I like the intimate, like 3 to 4 people. You get to network and co-work and meet people. I was thinking about, I don't know, I think that would be pretty cool. But who knows? Maybe I'll offer as a Patreon service one of these days too. Thanks. Jeff says, cool, thanks. I used to hear music when you would do those lives. Yeah, so those are chill. Yeah, so I used to do co-working sessions like Chill Hop Radio or like Lakey Inspired or Joachim Crude or whatever. Those would be the artists I usually play, and I play the same thing over and over again, and I just put on a loop. So you can usually find one of those like lo-fi hip hop stations for an hour on YouTube, but Chill Hop Radio is pretty solid. Even Freesia Park, I've been watching her a lot. I love her as like her look and feel of her YouTube videos. She's a great person to watch, by the way, and she uses a lot of the Chill Hop Radio library too. So there's that, and yeah. I'm kind of curious for y'all that are listening to this. What do you guys listen to when you guys are doing work? Love to hear that too, because your boy is always trying to look for new stations and all that. I'm really liking what's that called? I'm really liking YouTube Music, by the way. Like YouTube Music, out of all the algorithms, Spotify is like whatever, but I actually really like YouTube Music because the algorithm like actually plays music that I like and helps me discover new music that I don't think I would have liked before, or I would have never found out before. So Chill Hop Radio and YouTube Music is pretty solid too, for the most part. All right, guys, we're at 36 minutes, and we got 8 people here. So there's that. We got AK who says focus at will. Okay. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but yeah. Let's see. What else do you guys want to ask me? Otherwise I'm going to shut this off as well. I'll give you another life. Oh, yes. I like to listen. Focus at will. Okay, maybe that was a music channel or something like that. I like to listen to house music and drum and bass music while working. Yeah, so this girl that one of my friends, dude, she's Asian and stuff, and when I found out her taste in music, she likes like hardcore EDM, and then she likes old school like alternative and like rock and all that sort of stuff. She's a huge fan. She's always like wearing a Nirvana shirt and stuff like that. And so, but she doesn't look like that type as well. But I can't personally, if somebody didn't play that music, I'd be like, nah, not for me. But like it depends my mood. Sometimes like before I work too, I'll listen to like really like angry hip hop, like like the type people like do, like it's kind of like that. Like I'll listen to Chi-Town like drill music or some ATL beats or like some like music produced by Southside or Metro Boomin or something like that, and that always gets my blood boiling and stuff and angry and shit sometimes when I need to go through stuff. But I really like that a lot. But yeah. Nicholas says finish Wolf of Wall Street and almost done with Never Split the Difference. Enjoyed both. Got any recommendations? Yeah, I really like those books. Another one that I recommended on oh man, I put some recommendations on that Reality of Inbound Closing. So if you want to go on that video, but I believe it was like Go Giver, Sell More. That one's a decent one. I like Go Giver, by the way. That one's really good too. And I also like Gap Selling, which is a more consultative sell. So I like that. But as much as I like these books, like Never Split the Difference is really good for those one-liners. They're like those snappy clapbacks or comebacks, right? When someone asks you like a question, you can snap back at them, right? But I don't think there's like a really good book that kind of really breaks down like non-salesy selling, honestly. Maybe I should create a book too. Maybe I should do an ebook on like sales or something like that, or ebook on personal, like on those type of things. So just to give you preface too, like at the end of the day, like I wouldn't consider myself like, I mean, some people would know me for high ticket sales or inbound closing, and that's fine, but I never really saw myself as that. I just like, if I was talking on this podcast recently on sales, and it should be coming out relatively soon, but what was really interesting was that I never considered myself an inbound closer or salesperson ever in my life, and I still don't. I just know that I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and I'm nailing down the content marketing part, but I'm in a phase where I'm really focusing on my sales, like the sales part, persuasion, ethical persuasion, and whatnot as well. And one of the reasons why I like content marketing a lot is even though it's slow, it's a very natural drip, right? Like people, it's a natural thing. It's kind of like dating, right? Someone sees your profile. Like imagine someone sees your profile. Oh, I like this. This is really interesting. Perfect, right? And then they message you, and it's really cool. It's like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, I really love your videos, blah blah blah, and you start a dialogue, right? And then if it gets to that point, and I never have to do it, but like for example, one of my viewers brought up my coaching program to me. I've not talked about it on my stories, like, hey guys, got this launch, blah 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 blah. Like when there's a desire, they just come to you. And that's how I feel like the actual sales process when you're talking to someone. It's kind of like going on a date. And if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. And really the way that you figure out whether it's meant to be or not is also asking really good questions. It's always about your listening skills and your questions that you ask, whether you can close a deal or not. And so, yeah, like that's my philosophy. Other people differ. Like there's people out there who believe in like power dial, like jam the fucking phone down their throats, and they're really good. They have really good numbers to back it up. But for me, that's never been like my philosophy, and that's not the way I want to sell. And I really do believe there is a way that where sales doesn't have to be slimy or sneaky or anything like that as well. It's kind of like jujitsu, right? Let's take jujitsu for a second. I love jujitsu if you can't tell, but it's kind of like you have someone who's very athletic, right? And they just bulldoze you. Like they just fucking bulldoze you. You can win by force. It works, right? But then sometimes you get really great, beautiful tacticians, right? They're so technical with their things. Like I would say like a Marcelo Garcia back in the day or something like that. They're just like so phenomenal with their techniques that they dominate through technique alone. And it's always those small guys, right? It's always the small leg lockers that fuck you up through technique, and you're just like, fuck, I can't bulldoze you, right? And that's because they're using technique. It's the same thing with like inbound closing or sales or asking really great questions. It's like you can use your technique to refine the process where it's not has to be butting heads all the time as well and all that. You got quite a few books in the background. How many books would you say you read in a month per year? Well, the other day, actually, it depends because this book, The Power Now, I've literally picked this up 6 times. Okay. Like I've tried reading this book, Kenneth, like 6 times. I only finished reading it the other day. Okay. It took me 3 days to read. I read No More Mr. Nice Guy in like an hour or two. So it really depends on the level difficulty of the book, but I would say on average, I try to shoot for like 3 a week, honestly, like 3 a week. But sometimes there's cases where I don't read anything, honestly. I'll take a course instead and whatnot. Like I'm on a very like spiritual journey type of thing. So I'm reading like books like Osho right now, Living on Your Own Terms. I've finished reading Breaking a Habit of Being Yourself. If you go on if you're subscribed to my newsletter, so refugeehustle.com/join. I know the font's all messed up, but if you put in your email, I actually send out my book recommendations that I'm reading that week as well. So feel free to join if you're into that sort of stuff. But I read everything from psychology to mostly nonfiction. It's never fiction. I actually bought Hickson Gracie's autobiography as well, so that should be interesting. But I have entrepreneurship, leadership, selling, marketing, branding. What else? Storytelling. I have like a random Musashi book, which is like the only kind of like fiction book I have on my shelf. Habits, mobility, jujitsu. What else? Let me see. Money, mindfulness, spirituality, productivity. So I have like the whole gambit. I have like more bookshelves that you can't see it. Like I have two here. I have like a cube thing over here. So it has like 4 cubes over here. I have some books over here. So I got books everywhere. I got some books in my bag at the moment. So that's how many books I read on a month. Kenneth says, I like the honesty and transparency in your videos. I think it's a matter of time before you catch momentum. By the way, just curious, do you live life more frugally after quitting pharmacy? That is a great question. I would say so. I'm definitely more intentional with my money because I'll be honest, some weeks, some months I do really well. Other months I don't do as well. Like honestly, like ever since I lost my client back in May, June, like one of my main clients, like that's when I was doing active sales fulfillment, and it wasn't due to performance. I was actually doing pretty well. It was due to culture, believe it or not, because I didn't really like the whole daily meetings type of thing and like just the way things were run, and I challenged very politely and ethically, but anyways, it doesn't matter, right? The point is that yeah, I've really been very conscious about my expenses and trying to lower it, right? Like lower it and be more intentional. Like I actually spend more sometimes on certain things, right? Like on jujitsu and my health, I spend way more. But I've also thought about what I don't care about, and I don't spend as much on random Amazon things. Like what I have areas that I'll let myself splurge on. So for example, books is one of those things because I highly value education. Stationery like paper, like journals, I let myself go ham on those. Like going out to eat, not so much. I'm not a bougie ass person. I really don't care as long as it's really healthy. I think after watching Cron Gracie's documentary on Munchies about like how he respects his body, I'm definitely way more intentional about what I put on my mouth, like as well. So I try actually I probably buy way less like in terms of going out to eat, but I spend more on groceries just to like kind of focus my spending there. Yeah, but I live a lot more intentionally after quitting pharmacy, because when you're in pharmacy, it's kind of like the stress, and you build up these things. Like some people, for example, in pharmacy, like I knew people who coped with their like the stress of pharmacy or a stressful job with drinking, or they'll go raves on the weekend and fucking do tons of drugs. Ironically, right? There we can build up these addictions to numb ourselves from certain pains or feelings as well. But when you're happy, what you realize is that you need way less. And for me, I just spend on the 3 areas of my life: my health, my wealth in terms of my business, and health, wealth, and relationships, like taking people out to coffee and stuff like that. I really feel very strongly about that as well. So yeah, I definitely do live a lot more frugally. And yeah, like I even shave my head, dude. Like so I don't have to pay for haircuts anymore. Kenneth says, Power Now is great. I read it back when I was 18, 19 and revisit it a few times. Like Compound Growth, books that makes more sense over time, resonate more deeply, plus audiobooks help too. I actually have believe it or not, I have the compound effect right here. So yeah, it's pretty interesting as well. Yeah, books. I mean, and the beautiful thing about books is like I read No More Mr. Nice Guy in 2017. I was going through like I was dating actually my ex at the time, and I had such a hard time saying no. I was way too nice. I couldn't set boundaries, and she was staying over all the time and shit. And I felt so frustrated because I couldn't voice these feelings, right? And then I read it more recently, and I thought to myself, like, wow, things have changed a lot. Some areas have changed a lot. Like, I think in general, I'm a lot more direct. I'm not passive aggressive. But other areas like my relationship life, I still struggle with people pleasing sometimes because I'm so scared about losing my partner sometimes. Like, I notice I've always been either I've always been either anxious or avoidant. And those are my attachment styles. And what's really interesting is that when I read certain books at a certain time in my life, the context is different. You pick up on different things. So there's like the lifetime value of a book is infinite, because as you go through life, you're gonna pick up new things that you never would have seen before. And I always think that's a very beautiful thing, because it's kind of like you're revisiting something that's super familiar, but you're like, oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool, right? So there's that. By the way, if you guys are tuning in, make sure to smash the like button as well. Appreciate it. Hey Kev, says Corabel. Question for you: how did you make your personal brand? Well, you know what's really interesting? I've only really been okay. So since I came to came to Vegas, and I'm alone a lot more. I'm alone with my thoughts a lot more. And this is actually referred into No More Mr. Nice Guy. And at the time I was getting like neurohacking coaching. I was just focusing on the breakup, right? If you guys don't know, long story short, I was going through a really, really tough breakup. Like really, really tough. It made me question everything in my life. And I was reading Power of Now. I was reading the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I was reading Psycho-Cybernetics. I was reading a lot of these mindset books, right? And through that process, through sitting alone, and I was taking Mark Rowe's relationship course about building a better relationship with yourself. And ironically, those things help me like kind of determine like what is the value that I like. What are the values that I really care about? What are the things that you're willing to die for, right? Like you feel so strongly. Like for example, in my relationships, I really don't like passive aggressiveness. Like I won't tolerate that shit, right? And I just hate it, because I used to be that person, and I'm older now. I know that true relationships, the best relationships, are when you can just speak openly and you can just talk, right? Someone might not agree with you, but that's okay. That's not a reason why you can't be friends and stuff. But I've just realized that that's one thing that really matters to me. And as I was doing more and more of this relationship stuff, I realized my values. Like I really value here are things that I really value. I really value like, and you hear this at the end of my newer videos, where it's like rebelliousness, being able to challenge existing ideas. I was really inspired by this through reading Austin Kleon's book, and he has two things if you can't figure out an idea. Like what's an idea that in the current day that needs to die, right? That you despise of and needs to die. And I'm paraphrasing. The second one was, what's an idea that everybody needs to hear that has been dead for a long time, that needs to be resurrected. And those are kind of questions I always think about. So I think about the values, right? That's something super important. And this is also covered in Primal Branding. It's a book about the elements of branding, but basically, if you're wondering what a brand is, and this is what I've been learning. I've been reading a lot of branding books, talking to a lot of branding people. So I'm not the expert in branding, by the way. Like I would not consider myself like, I don't think I have a strong personal brand. I think it's like everywhere. I think people are like, I think people like, they're like, what exactly do you do? And I'm like, yeah, that's probably not, and people are asking me that. I probably don't have a good brand, but one thing I think I do really well is like the feel, right? The feel of the brand, a safe place for vulnerability, right? Like there's a certain like look and feel when you come into a brand. And that's why branding is so important, because so there's a lot of different sales trainers out there. We all know that, right? There's Jordan Belfort, there's Jeremy Minor, there's like Cole Gordon, there's the inbound closing people, there's fucking Dan Locke. I wouldn't recommend him, but like there's like so many different people, and let's talk about the people below them. There's all these random sales trainers too, right? What makes them different versus other people, right? Well, honestly, it comes down to personal brand. Same thing goes down to, like, I was talking to one of my clients. He offers email marketing services. I'm like, what's your promise? And he's like, blah, 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 will increase your ROI by like 30 or 40%. That's okay if you're an early adopter, but at a certain point, everybody's going to say the same exact fucking thing. And it comes down to, what are your values and what's the feel that you want people when they say your company or when they say your name? What do they think of? Let's do a little exercise. For you 11 people, viewers who are watching this really quickly, when you think of my channel, what are some things that you think of off the top of your head? Just write it down. Like, what are some feelings that you have, or what are some things that come off the top of your head? So while that's populating, we can take some other examples too. Like, let's take some really great YouTubers I follow. I think about Matt D'Avella. I think minimalism, really honest guy, kind of quirky, kind of funny as well. Like, he's pretty cool. Really great aesthetic, right? Like, I feel like I get absorbed in his content, right? And I feel connected. Like, this guy understands me. Okay, cool. So we take that person. Let's take another person, Ali Abdaal, right? I've endorsed his products a lot. I think about, wow, super educational, right? Educational, smart, productivity. Those are the words that come up to my head. Really dorky and nerdy. Like, he likes Harry Potter and shit. Like, I like Harry. I'm not gonna lie, I read Harry Potter as a little kid too, but that's what I think of, right? Let's take Gary Vee, right? Hustle. That's the first thing that comes into mind. Like, hustle, workaholic, wine library, right? These are the things that pop into my head as well. Like, content maximize. He's literally on every single platform I can think of. Let's take someone like, I kind of want to use a negative example, but I don't know. I don't want to get sued or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to get sued. It's going to get deleted anyways. But I don't know. Think about your gurus too. Like, how that's like, think about someone who you lost trust in, right? For example, like, when I think about Dan Lok, I'm just like, I just think, like, honestly, I used to have a really good impression of him. If you guys wonder how I feel about him now, it's like, dude, inauthentic. Like, I don't want to get into it, but basically I don't have a good impression of him at this point, and it doesn't go away, right? Like, that feeling, that impression that you have on people. It's kind of like a brand is like a person, if you think about it, right? It's like, oh yeah, like Wendy's, they got a fire ass like Twitter, right? I think about that all the time. Who has really good branding as well, and I just love it. So yeah, it's a person. Let's see. Entrepreneurship, hardworking, perseverance, and realness. Okay. Seton says refugee hustle. Yeah. A lot of people think about that. It's not the name, by the way, as well. It's not the name. It's like what it represents, right? And I don't think I've been doing a good job with branding. I should probably hire a brand expert. The people I really do like as well is, like, I really like Chris Do a lot. Like, he is really good. Like, I like Chris Do's brand a lot. Really clean aesthetic, really professional, very open, real. I love it. And he's super helpful. He's super kind. But he will challenge you, right? So those are some things I like about him. And brand changes over time, right? Like, think about your favorite brands maybe like 10 years ago. Chances are they're very, very different than now, right? These things don't stay forever. And that's okay. Nothing is permanent, right? Nothing is permanent. Which reminds me, I also read a book on impermanence in Buddhism as well. I can't remember. Had the book somewhere. When Things Fall Apart. Yes, that was a really, really great book. I was remembering that book as well. Cora Bell says, we're on the same page with branding. I'm trying to figure it out for myself. Yeah. And here's the thing. It's just like a lot like figuring stuff out. Like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Or what is my purpose and all that? Like, these things do not come overnight. And I was listening to David So on this, his conversation with Frieza Park. And he was like, these things do not come overnight. They take time. They take work. It takes a lot of introspection. And that's why silence, spending time by yourself, while uncomfortable sometimes, it's very well needed. In order to, like, bring out that masculine energy, sometimes you need to be by yourself, right? Because you're not influenced by other people and you're thinking in your thoughts, what really matters to me? And that's like how I think about branding, honestly, and how I get my ideas sometimes. Like I'm literally implementing an idea that, since I'm in Vegas, I don't have that many friends. It forces me to do that a lot. It's uncomfortable sometimes. It forces me to sit in my feelings. Like, um, yeah, and but like sometimes I get my best ideas while I'm by myself and I journal it. Um, yeah, so that's my thoughts at the moment. What book do you recommend to learn investing in ETFs? So in terms of investing into ETFs and stuff, I mean, really learning basic principles is the most important thing. I really like Ramit Sethi a lot. His book is like the number one book I always recommend, right? Yeah, his book is really really fire. Because when you're like, ask yourself, what is an ETF? It's like a portfolio of funds, right? And what do you need to know? You need to know performance, expense ratios, all that sort of stuff, right? Those are some of the things that you want to assess. Now, can you do more in-depth analysis? For sure. And basically they trade the kind of like the prices can fluctuate just like the stocks, and you can't do automatic investing in them. You have to actually place the order every single time. But I mean, really educating yourself on the major basics, I think that's the first step. If you want advanced strategies, I don't have a good resource. So if anyone has a good resource for that, feel free to drop it in a chat. But that's I mean, it's pretty easy to invest into an ETF and stuff like that as well. But there's like there's different sector ETFs too, right? There's cannabis ones, there's health, there's like consumer goods and all that as well. I can't remember all of them. It's been a while since I looked at ETFs and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I'm I'm in a few of them too, like Internet of Things and all that as well. So there's that. Um. Okay, that's a weird comment. Good job on your recent videos. 15K subs, by the way. Love your authenticity and vulnerability. Congrats. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's all about the quality of content, not quantity. Like that's one thing I've learned is like it's all about quality. And I posted up some shorts. I actually might remove them pretty soon. Honestly, like I think I might just post them on TikTok and just do fast volume content, and then keep like I'm experimenting with a lot of different things. So I right now I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. Reels on YouTube do really really well. Oh, you reels on YouTube, sorry, reels, shorts, and TikTok. Those are like really good viral pieces of like platforms and stuff like that. But I kind of like don't like putting my stuff on like Instagram, like especially if I'm teaching shit. Like I like it a lot less heavy on like teaching things. I like the daily videos, the 1 minute videos I've been doing as well almost every day. I lied. I only did them twice last week, but I want to start doing more of those videos because I like the rawness of like daily content, but I can't do it on YouTube because it doesn't perform very well. It spams the audience and it clutters up my feed, which I don't really like as well. Okay, this is really weird. How do I get this person on my freaking thing? Hold on for 1 second. Thank you, Seton, for moderating. This is like really weird. I don't know. Like, see, this is the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, where like, honestly, you just get different people on here, and you just don't know what people's agenda are, like on YouTube and stuff. But think about it like this. Like, I mean, even at this moment, the power of personal branding right now is like, I get to, what the fuck? Oh, my friend's calling me. I'll talk to him later. But the power of personal branding is like I get to connect with 11 people. It's kind of like if I was at a dinner with friends right now, talking to you guys like I would with my friends at dinner, except it would be a two-way conversation. But that is the power of like the internet. Sure, it's not 200. I'm not like a freaking Twitch streamer or major YouTuber, but I really enjoy like this interaction, just back and forth and just talking to people. It's really, really great. I always feel wondered this. Do you feel more powerful as you get more subs? Not really, honestly. I mean, I don't have that many subs. Like, I still feel like for the amount of time that I put in YouTube, for the amount of like effort that I do on this platform, I am definitely not a good example of a channel to model from, right? And I'm still cracking the code. I know, like, okay, so this is where I get stuck on with YouTube. It's like, okay, the more I grow my channel, the more opportunities I know I have. Like, I'm getting to that point where I get brand deals. People are messaging me, hey, can you promote my product? Can you promote my product? And it's just like, well, depends. Like, sometimes it's like, and I get I get a lot of scammers actually contacting me too. I'm just like, nah, brah, like, I'm not about that life. But then, like, I think when I see a high subscriber count, like higher my channel growing on a consistent basis, I think the number one thing I've been feeling more recently, and I didn't always feel this way, is just like gratitude. It's like, wow, like 15K. I actually like I've met quote unquote 15,000 people who liked my content enough at one point in time. Maybe not now. Maybe they don't like my content now, but at one point they liked me enough to just hit subscribe, and I'm truly grateful for that. I'm like, fuck, when else do I get to meet 15,000 people? Not that freaking often, right? It's not every single day, and that's not possible in the real world. I think most I might know, like, I definitely know like over 5,000 or 6,000 people in real life and stuff, but man, 15K, I cannot even fathom that I know that many people in my real life with that as well. So yeah, I don't think it's about power. I think it's about being grateful about all the people that I've been able to have, like, who watch me and who still watch me. And here's the thing, like, yeah, just because someone subscribes to you, like, it's not forever, you know? Like, I used to have this feeling of like subscribers, like once they subscribe to you, they need to love you forever and whatnot. Guess what? We're all gonna die one day, so people are not gonna watch your content. Our interests change over the years too. Like, chances are the content that you watch like 10 years ago, it's not gonna be the same content that you watch still. Maybe sometimes. Like for me, I still watch Jersey Shore, but I also used to watch like StarCraft 2 videos and stuff like that, which sometimes I like watching still, but you know, like, things change. Or like pickup artist videos, like I really like that. I thought it was really funny back in the day and thought it was fun to learn that stuff. But as I get older, it changes so much. Like, I was 20, I think about the content that I used to watch when I was 23. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. And culture changes over that time too, right? The things that you say 10 years ago and now could be totally freaking different too. It's pretty crazy. Let's see. Kenneth Bateman says, what will you rate your likelihood of returning back to pharmacy? Virtually none. Should you go back? Do you have to renew or go through extensive licensing? So, Kenneth, to answer your question, my man, one, I am still currently licensed right now. So if I want to go back to pharmacy, I could, if I really wanted to. But the likelihood of me returning back to pharmacy, I would say, is slim to none. Especially like if it's like community pharmacy, I can't ever see myself going back to that. If it was a different role, perhaps, and it depends like my family situation. Like, obviously if I had kids or I had dependents or there was an emergency, like let's say, knock on wood, but like my mom got cancer or even I got cancer and I was just like, fuck, I really like, I need more stable income, I would consider it. And I think like one of the things like I used to be very strong about is like making these absolutes or making these arbitrary rules as well. I was talking to like one of my friends. She's been on the channel. Her name's Athena. And we're talking about arbitrary rules because she was talking to me about like her dating life and how she doesn't do this or that like until the guy does this. And I was like, why do you make up these arbitrary rules? And often, and to bring it back to careers and stuff, it's like, why do I make arbitrary rules? Why do I make these absolutes of I will never go back no matter what? I honestly can never see myself going back to community because I tried it for a long time and I was very unhappy during that time. And I believe that you can always find a career that can make you happy and sustain the bills too. Like, why not have both, right? It doesn't make sense to me, like, more importantly, to go back to a career which I was so miserable at as well, right? And it's only continuing to get worse with no future. Um, yeah, I just don't see something like that that would be sustainable. Now, if it was at like a PBM or like um hospital or something, I might consider it, but highly unlikely. Cause I don't know, I just really like sales and marketing and content marketing. I'm just really fascinated about the internet because it's kind of like you have to understand culture, you have to understand human psychology, you have to apply these skills to persuade people to do things that they already want to do. There's ethical persuasion, it's not manipulation, and I just really love that. I love understanding how people tick, and I think that it more so aligns with my natural gifts too, right? Building relationships, connecting with people, being very real with people, being a trusted advisor for people too. I really enjoyed that a lot. And yeah, I think like I'm so if there's one thing I'm really proud of myself is not over the last 3 years is not continuing the cycle over again. Doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting some sort of different outcome. I'm really proud of myself for taking the risk to do a challenge, doing something that I was very uncomfortable with, and figuring out one step at every step of the way, right? And that is something that I'm very proud of myself for doing. And I don't think a lot of people could do it or would do it, nor I would recommend most people to do what I did. And I was very fortunate, honestly. Like a lot of things just lined up perfectly. It just feels like a gift, like as well sometimes. Sometimes it does not feel like a gift. Like right around last year this time I felt miserable. Like I lost my biggest client, my mom was in the hospital, like I was going through so much. My ex-girlfriend like literally broke up with me at that time. It like some but all these events at the time I couldn't see it, but it forced me to grow as a person, be a better person, hire out a coach to help me like kind of reframe my mindset, get introduced to all these different people like my friend Athena, right? Like honestly, like I'm so grateful for all the people that I met, and some of the people that I met after my transition. I don't know where I would be without them, honestly. They've helped me through so many different things. And I'm just really, really grateful for all the things that have happened through that time. And I still think I'm paying my dues. I, I don't, I think a lot of people believe that, I don't know, with the expectations, like we hear these stories, sometimes this actually happens to people, but sometimes people like overnight, I don't want to say overnight they find a business and stuff, but sometimes like with business you just gotta eat shit for a little bit and pay your dues. Like you have to pay your dues to get great. Like for me, that's why I spent time doing sales and stuff just to learn that skill set. But now I have that forever. I can move on to the next skill, right? Growing a team, managing a team. I'm still learning these skills. I'm not like I'm not like an expert, but if I ask myself when is a good time to transition, there was never a good time, right? And I've been reading this book, The Quantum Leap, U Squared, like all these books, and it talks about like think about the end game and believe it, you're not gonna be ready. And it's almost like having a kid, like what people say. I don't know, I'm not a dad, so if there's any parents here, like dude, like feel free to chime in. But it's really interesting. Like I was listening, my friends are getting popping out kids, and then I was listening to The Matrimony by Usher and Wale with Jerry Seinfeld in the beginning, and he talks about when is a good time to get married. It never feels like a good time to get married. It feels like that roller coaster where it goes ka-chunka, chunka, chunka, and you look down, it's like, wow, this is really high up, right? He says that in the skit, and it's like you never feel ready, and but you do it anyways. Is through that you just kind of learn just to trust yourself that you're smart enough that you'll figure out anything that comes along the way. You're not going to die. Well, hopefully you won't die, but it feels like that sometimes. And just to trust that you're resourceful enough and trust in your abilities to figure things out. And that's what I've been really doing for the last 3 years, honestly. It's pretty crazy. I learned so much more than I ever did through a course or a textbook or anything like that. That's why it blows my mind when I hear these, when I hear kids and stuff, or these anti-guru people who are just like, just read a book, you'll learn everything. And it's like, how dumb do you have to be to make a statement like that? It's kind of like, dude, read facts and comparisons. Why go to pharmacy school, right? And it's like, no, it's the experience of being able to apply that knowledge. It's not about the knowledge. Same with jiu-jitsu. You could read Mastering the Rubber Guard by Eddie Bravo, or you can read X Guard by Marcelo Garcia, or any of these jiu-jitsu books like Gracie University, like these things, right? But you only become great through the actual practice and through the experience. Where did I hear this? I took a picture from one of my friends, but wisdom is experience and knowledge, or applied knowledge, or something like that. And that resonated so hard with me as well, because how true is that with so many areas of our lives, right? Whether it's relationships, whether that's cooking, it's so easy to know the knowledge of something, but it's a whole new feeling to really internalize something like that as well. So there's that. SL says, hi Kevin, sorry, I went on a deep thought tangent. I don't know anything about pharmacy. Are licenses permanent? No, you have to upkeep them, by the way. I would have been pretty shocked to hear you let your license lap after all you went through to get it. Yeah, the relative, even though I don't intend, I don't want to say keep my options open, but I worked hard for it. I paid a shit ton of money for it, so wouldn't make sense to just let it lapse unless it was my time was really, really not worth it anymore. But yeah. So SL says, I'm an accountant at the moment. I work mad hours in corporate. Would it be feasible for me to go back to school, because pharmacy offers a work-life balance, usually 3 12-hour shifts? Yeah. I've known accountants actually that went to pharmacy school with me. But if it's just a work-life balance, I would just say look elsewhere as well. I don't know. Are there any other reasons why you're looking into some pharmacy as well? It has to be more than just that, and I would actually really talk to a lot of pharmacists too. I don't know your life situation. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have some sort of external circumstance as well that I don't know about, but that's all important, because to ask people as well. And I would tell you this from my experience. I would say the work-life balance, it's sometimes it depends where you're working, but a lot of times you're going to have to work holidays if you're in a community. I'm sure it's different in a hospital. Every single part of pharmacy is a little different. And I would just say going to pharmacy school for work-life balance, I don't believe it's worth it. Most pharmacists I know are pretty stressed out. And I was speaking to a new grad more recently. He was like, dude, I hate my job. It's so stressful. I feel trapped. I hate it. I'm only 5 months into it. And I was like, now you know how I felt, right? For a long time. And a lot of people might disagree with me, in terms of, I'm not going to discount other people's experiences, especially if it's outside of community, but honestly, for me, it just wasn't worth it. And I did not enjoy it. And there were aspects I enjoyed sometimes, right? I love helping out my patients, and I have a lot of great stories from that time where I got to really impact people's lives, but I just realized that there was no growth for me in that field, so I didn't want to do it anymore. So for the record, I hit 60 hours a week. Yeah, and J22 actually brings up a good point, change jobs, and is it worth it just to go, I'm not sure, so there's you could go down another route, go to school and stuff, but let's take a thought exercise for a second. What are the points of like least friction? If it's only job secure, or sorry, work life balance, perhaps maybe you can find a job that kind of respects that. You know accounting more than I do. I don't know. I'm not the expert at that, right? But are any of your accountant friends like really into like do any of your accountant friends have like good work life balance? Because that'd be a lower barrier of friction than going into pharmacy, getting a degree, the sunk cost of tuition only to make like 70K out. Oh my god, I can't believe it's 70K. It's crazy. Um how much slash long did you try to educate yourself before you started looking for a high ticket sales job? And how much longer after you started searching to find your first gig? I actually talked about this on a podcast recently, but I'm more than happy to share, Nicholas, with yourself. Um, with education, I just went through one of those guru programs. I thought I was the shit. I thought I could close anything. And then reality hit. Ended up getting a client, and I'll go into how I found that client too. And then I ate shit, and then I almost got kicked off. And I just started learning from the people who are more experienced from me, and learning from them, watching them, putting my own spin, and I became slowly better and better and better over time. Right? I still don't think I'm an expert closer or anything like that too. Like I think I'm decent, but I don't think I'm like a dirty blue, right? Like it's like you're dangerous enough to be you're enough to be dangerous. It's kind of like UFC 1. If you were a blue belt or a purple belt, you were king in 1990s, right? But because you know enough to be dangerous against a novice, right? So there's that. Um in terms of finding my first gig, Nicholas, it really depended because I was on interviews. Like I never applied to a single gig. People always reach out to me because I had a strong personal brand, I guess, right? Um, yeah, people just reach out to me, whether it's LinkedIn or anything like that. And then even now, like you get referrals and stuff, like for major clients too, which is pretty cool. Like it's really really cool. I'm very blessed to have that. But it's all starts getting your first major client. My first major client probably took me a good half year to get. I'm not saying it'll be the same for you, right? Like, but it's really important to make those connections and just meet people who are willing to help you. And I get a lot of people blasting me all the time, and they're just like, "Hey, Kevin, can you recommend me?" And it's like it's hard for me to make a recommendation when I don't know you, I haven't worked with you, and that's why like for my coaching client, like I literally okay, you guys would not believe this. I literally handed a opportunity, an interview on a silver platter, warm referral and stuff, and my student bombed the interview. It's not my student's fault. He's really young. It's like one of his first interviews, but it goes to show you, even when with a warm referral, people can still fuck up the interview, right? And it's just like, oh my god, like it happens, and that's part of the process. Fucking up is part of the process. So it really depends on a lot of things. I don't know your previous experience, if you've been good on interviews before, but in my previous career, like it was a professional career, so you have to be good at being professional and interviewing and all that. Like I had to conduct interviews back in the day too, man. So yeah. Alex Johnson, what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? Nice having you here. Um, how much are you making, SL? And can you parlay your job into an upper management role where you do less grunt work? Great point. Is it public? Because public accountant has those hours. It's public, but I've been hearing that the industry is better, but not like 40 hours a week better. Yeah, I have no idea, but probably best to ask other people. Hey Kevin, do you follow Fire Movement by chance? Yeah, I follow it like on like Reddit and stuff like that, and Ramit's talked about it in his newer book and stuff like that. But I follow it for the most part, but I don't know. Like I'm a big believer of setting up assets so that you can cash flow for the future, right? So I think once you have that cash flow, you can retire a lot sooner than like you can retire a lot sooner. For example, like let's say if I close like a major client and I get like $1,000 cash flow through that, and the 500 through like through passively through YouTube, or 1,000 through YouTube, right? That's 2K. If it hits my minimum, I'm okay with that. Then I could technically retire. It's probably not the lifestyle I want, but it would free up so much of my time where I can use that time to acquire more assets, right? Or use those skills that I learned in sales and marketing to meet more people, to do syndication deals. Like, there's a lot of other things that you could potentially do. Not to say it's easy, but I think retirement is a lot closer than what people think it is. And it all starts with setting up assets, right? Like, this YouTube channel is an asset for me. Like, I could do nothing and I would be making like $600 to $700 per month just from this channel. Is it a lot? Not really. But think about over the course of years. As this channel grows and grows and grows, the more I invest into it, it's going to pay off as well. And I think, like, that's why I've been focusing on high quality content. It's like, if I double down on high quality content, it's only going to improve the virality of this channel. And I just got to put more effort into it and just create better and better content. And for a long time, I was just doing three videos for the longest time. They were average. They were like whatever. It's not like something I was proud of, but more these days, I've been doing videos that I'm super proud of every single time, and it just brings a smile to my face. And I just love creating those assets. So I've done the same thing with like Amazon affiliates. I might do something with like a book and publishing relatively soon. All that. So yeah. Let's see. It's about work-life balance. I would stick it out for 2 or 3 years in public and then go industry. J22 sounds like 222. It sounds like you're in this industry. You mentioned about something about Airbnb arbitrage. Are you doing that? I've also heard some people doing that in other countries. I just don't do that. I don't do that. Just regular rentals here. Oh, it depends. I mean, there's pros and cons. I don't do it at the moment. I probably will do it in the future, honestly, as a future business model, but I'm just focused on one thing right now, like a few things right now. It's like, okay, growing this YouTube channel, the coaching business as well, like for sales and marketing, because it helps my agency out by training up a workforce and being able to supply that workforce with like work as well. And yeah, that's what I'm focused on at the moment. Like, and doing some sales fulfillment. I'm trying to limit my time with sales fulfillment, but it does do really, really well too. Like, I can make really good money through that. It's just that it burns me out a lot, and then I don't have the creative like juices to do that. My other coach is telling me like, yo, Kevin, you gotta get into like creating solutions for businesses and stuff like that. I want to eventually get into that, but I know I gotta pay my dues a little bit more probably at this point in time, or that's what I would like to do. But maybe I'm just like scared, I guess. I don't think I'm scared. I think it's like, for me, I just want to I don't want to sacrifice on quality, and I'm only 2 or 3 years into this industry too, so I like to put a little bit more time. But I also know the fallacy of time. Like, if you can fix someone's problem, why not do it sooner? Like, I honestly did not want to do sales coaching, like, believe it or not. It was just because people asked me to. I did not want to do my content marketing like coaching program either. But it's because my current student, she asked me to. She's like, shut up and take my money. I'm like, shit, people really want to work with me. And it's like, why wouldn't I do it? Like, why would I not take advantage, but why would I want to help impact someone's life? If they think I have something valuable, which I've invested a lot into myself. I've invested over 100K into myself, right? And that's why I know these things. It's because I invested time to learn these things. Like, through sales, I get to see so many different business models and the ups and downs of business models as well. So, yeah, that's kind of that. Let's see. Nicholas says, what would you say is the most significant factor in building your personal brand before you got into this field? Honestly, just producing content. Like, producing content is the number one thing that has changed my life in general. right? Because people got to see the person. Let's take Jordan Belfort, right? Like, they have trust with the like, in order to close any deal, there's like three things, right? Trust with the brand, trust with the product, and trust with the closer, right? And so when I talk about inbound, let's take inbound closing for example, right? When I talk about inbound closing and I mention and I teach things, it's building trust with the product, right? It's also building trust with my brand too, because it's like the look, the feel, the personality, the way I'm teaching things, right? How you feel when you're learning. Am I boring? Am I entertaining? Am I doing skits? All that stuff. And then obviously you're building trust with me because it's a personal brand. I'm the one doing it. And so I share personal stories. And I think that's important. It was important for getting those initial opportunities, like getting clients and making friends who referred me to clients, or eventually we became clients. Like, it is really fucking crazy. But I would say that's the most significant thing, just creating content, putting myself out there where people just knew about me, and they just, maybe they didn't know like what I did, but they knew that I was a good guy and I would never fuck them over, right? And as someone they could trust, and someone that would give real ass advice to them, even if it was against like, even if it was like not in my financial interest as well, right? Plenty of times where I recommended other things that, like, other products and stuff that weren't mine or anything like that. And I think that's part of personal brand, like not being a dick and just like really helping people like unconditionally, right? So there's that. YouTube as an income source is great, but I can imagine myself a majority of people in unwillingness / fear, whatever you want to call it, by putting themselves out there. Of course. And then there's like the and then there's like the whole significant other type of thing too, because I want to say like, I actually ran into this issue where this person was saying like, you're in the public eye. I was like, I wish I was in the public eye, first of all, but like, especially if you're sharing so much about your life, you can't help but think that it does impact the other person, like, that you're with, that you're dating, that you eventually marry or have a family with, right? Those are all important factors to consider. And it's not easy. It's very slow. Like, it's very slow. What I was telling you was like all AdSense, by the way, right? And it fluctuates sometimes, but baseline goes up over time. And my growth in my channel is going up over time as well. But yeah, like, it's not easy. It's fun though. Like, for me, like, I enjoy it. It leverages all my strengths, like being able to meet people, being able to teach things, being able to kind of connect with people. Like, those are my strengths, man. And that's why I like YouTube, because it leverages those strengths. And of course, even if I have these strengths, it doesn't make it easy. I have a lot to learn. Like, and life it's not always fair. It's kind of like jujitsu too. Like, sometimes you just like there's this new person in the gym, they become like a fucking protege, and you're like, what the fuck? They learn so quick and adapt so quick. And it's like, sure, you can be really jealous of them, or you can learn something from them too. And sometimes the ego gets in the way, and it's just like, fuck, I always gotta humble myself. I always gotta, like, I've really had to teach myself emotional restraint. Not restraint, but like being more patient with myself, because I'm not the same as another person, right? And I really do believe in the concept of slow growth, like Matt D'Avella says all the time. Great things are built with time and reps. And sure, some people like do really, really well, but I've seen brands like crash and burn overnight because they were too aggressive, or they weren't good at their craft, or it was just a phase, you know? So there's that. Anyways, guys, I've been live streaming for about an hour 35. So I'm gonna hop off, y'all. Your boy has to eat something. I just had to like pho with no noodles earlier and stuff. By the way, I lied to you guys. I will not be deleting this live stream, but I'll be unlisting it. So if you want a copy of this, you can bookmark it and it'll be up, but it just won't be public as well. So if you caught a few glimpses of this, great. But in the future, I'm gonna start just hiding all my stuff too. Hiding the live streams as well, like because I don't really get that much engagement through these things, and this is more for the community. So yeah. Um. Hey, last question. I'll answer any last questions too, so you guys can post them really quick. Hey Kevin, do you think that people in frats make it further than people not in frats and pharmacy? At the end of the day, it's like, okay, what's the purpose of a frat? It's just meeting people, right? Could you meet people outside your life? For sure. And it's not just meeting anyone. Are you meeting the right people that are getting you to your goals? And that sounds very like, I just want to meet you because you're going to get me somewhere. But it's just like, the way I think of it is just like another lead source, right? Another way to make friends. You can meet them at the bar. I've honestly met people like literally on the street, and then we became like really fucking close. Like there's this one girl I picked up. Get this. I was living at the old JK house, right? And at the time I was going K-Town, like in between like pharmacy and stuff. I was working all the way. I was doing really long distances, and sometimes traffic would be so bad I would just chill in like K-Town. And there was this girl, she was drawing and whatnot. I was like, oh shit, she's actually pretty good at drawing. So I was like, hey, love your drawing over there. And that's how I literally started a conversation. And I thought she was pretty attractive. We chopped it up, got her number, and then she had a boyfriend and stuff. So I was like, okay, so we're just probably going to be friends. But even to this day, that was 2014 when I tried picking her up, dude. We're still friends. Same with this Korean barbecue girl that I tried to pick up in 2014, man, when I first moved to LA. Like, similar story. We like, I left my number there. She hit me up, and then we just became really cool, and we still chop it up to this day. So my point is, other than that, I really suck at picking up girls apparently, but my point is, you can meet people anywhere. It's just another way to meet people, right? Just because you're in a frat doesn't make you successful. Those things are mutually exclusive, right? If you feel like being in a frat, it's going to help you connect with people and provides a reason for you to connect with people, great. But I've known plenty of people who were both in frats and who weren't in frats who did fine as well. Lol, hopped in at the last 30 seconds of this podcast. Lol. Hey, no worries, Jojo. Just save this link. It's going to be up for the next 48 hours. So there's that. But for the people that made it, man, love y'all. Like, have a great night. Like I said, this kind of like Sunday night thing isn't going to be always consistent. I'm probably going to do it when I want to, but here's the thing. Like, I was thinking like, oh, people won't know. But guess what? If you hit the bell, it makes things a lot more special. Like, when we do connect, it's not because, oh, I'm going to be here next week. It's like, no, I don't know when the next time I'm going to do it. And I'm not saying that as a scarcity type of thing, but it's like to keep my sanity, because I've been doing it for the last 3 years on Sundays, almost on the dot all the time. And it's just like, it drove me fucking crazy, man. So yeah. Battlefield says, how's business going so far? Do you find more clients? I actually landed this major client. They're doing like 30 to 50 mil per like week, no sales team. They want to, or sorry, per month, no sales team. They want to bring a sales team on. So that is going to be freaking big as hell. So yeah, I have a big one like in like a month or so. So I'm just getting all my coaching type of stuff done. I actually have a new coaching student as well. I'm probably going to be opening up my high ticket sales coaching relatively soon. I'm running a content maximizer coaching type of thing too. And it's kind of cool because honestly, this shit forces me to like kind of document all my steps and make it look nice. And so when I actually onboard people to work for me and stuff, or when I hire a specific role, I have like onboarding materials and stuff like that. So thanks for asking, Battlefield. So it's a little, I would say it's like, it's doing okay, but like in a month, it's going to do super, super well. So I'm really excited for that. HTN says thanks. Yeah. And speaking about thanks, just want to thank you, all y'all guys as well. If you haven't already too, like if you're watching this on the replay, at least for 48 hours. I also have a newsletter too, so you can go refugeehustle.com/join, and I send you weekly updates or whenever I can as well. And that's how you can hear from me. You hear everything from my favorite books to what I'm working on this week, to my inner insights behind the scenes. So would really appreciate you guys if you check that out. It's in the link below, so you can check that out. But yeah, man, holy, how are they doing that? What's a sales team with that revenue? They're doing they're doing direct like webinar sales. So they do like a paid ad to like webinar, and that's how much they're generating. And so that's they have a low ticket offer, and they want to launch a high ticket offer, which why is they're looking to a sales team. So those are the kind of clients I'm working with, guys. Like, it's crazy, bro. It's kind of like don't get me wrong, I do have my concerns about it, and maybe we can talk about it next time, but yeah, they're doing a lot, and it's not gonna be like that forever. It's like they wanna. I'll be honest. One of the things that worries me is that they're so revenue focused, and I'm like, okay, how much fulfillment can you really take at the end of the day, right? So, anyways, yeah, your boy is tired. Hour 40. I stayed extra long for y'all. I appreciate y'all as well. Battlefield, that is pretty impressive, by the way. Yeah, it's super impressive. So I'm going to try to throw as many resources on this client as well and assemble my own sales team so I can like close as many deals and outsource things and all that as well. How did I bag that client? Referral. And that's what happens when you do really great work. People think about you. They need to expand their sales team. So I was one of the first people that they reached out to. And I was like, okay, I'll consider it. But then I saw the potential for this. It's like, damn. And I asked some of my mentors, I was like, hey, are you jumping on this? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Maybe it'll be a good opportunity for me to learn some new things too. So yeah. All right. Your boy's tired. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night. I appreciate all y'all that stopped by. And again, sign up for my email list, refugeehustle.com/join. And I will see you guys next time. Oh shit. Does anybody sound like Brendan Schwab? No one's told me that, Southpaw, but that's pretty funny. I love Brendan, by the way. It's pretty funny. Awesome. Cool. Well, I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.